Hello everyone, Juggalozen back at it again, Schlubbing and Nubbin. Back with another installment of Schlub deck techs. So here I have for you a deck that I went 4-0 with from the Gamelot St. Patrick's Day tournament. I call this one Toxic CoCo. So first off, this was done at my favorite haunt, Gamelot. Cliff Short, Nick Short, good people, look them up. So we had specific rules for this particular tournament. It was Pioneer. The format was Pioneer. It had to be all mono green. You couldn't have any colorless cards. Any cards with you couldn't have any cards with non-green symbols in the text box. So you couldn't have hybrid pips in the cost. You couldn't have colorless in the cost, or you couldn't have any like straight up colorless cards. You couldn't have anything here that had extra. That had a different color mana in there, some non-green. Like let's say you have a, what was it? There's this one Badger I think that has a kicker cost that has black. So you can't have anything like that. Was it lands? It was cool to have lands that gave you different color mana, but you really weren't gonna have a use for it because everything had to be green and green related. What was I again? And double face cards, so long as they were green. Or was it without any other color on the back side or the front side? Then it would be okay. So again, this is my Toxic CoCo deck. So I'll just start off. Here we go. I have 2 copies of Evolving Adaptive. This guy is a surprisingly good 1-drop. He's reminiscent of Experiment 1, I think it was called. So was it 1 comes into play with an oil counter, gets +1/+1 for each oil counter on it, and then when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, oh, that's my boy Tommy trying to get on the table. When another creature enters the battlefield under your control that has a higher power or toughness than Evolving Adaptive, it gains another oil counter. So this thing gets stronger the more stronger things enter the battlefield with it. So 2 copies of this guy. Then I have 4 copies of course, the Menace of Standard, Venerated Rot Priest. So you all know him, 1-drop, 1/2, Toxic 1. When any of your guys get targeted by a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. So I will tell you that I did not out-poison one person. I came close a game or 2. It's just another avenue to victory if you need it. So let me see. So then I have 3 copies of Cankerbloom. So Cankerbloom is a very efficient creature. Was it 2-drop, 3/2, that you can pay 1 and sack it to either destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. Was it destroying enchantments? Very good with this guy. Never did proliferate with him, but having a 3 power on a 2 cost is really good in an aggressive deck like this one. Then I have 4 copies of Werewolf Pack Leader. So this guy's amazing. So double green pips in the cost for a 3/3, so 2 cost 3/3, that you can pay 3 and a green to have until end of turn. This guy have base power and toughness 5/3, gain trample, and lose human. So that's kind of cool. That can get you some damage over. But the big draw to him is that when this one attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater, you draw a card. That is huge. You get this guy, you get one of these and one of these, you attack, that's 6 power, you draw a card. And sometimes you want to take that chance just to get the card draw, just to push further. Make them chump block your guys and make them lose guys to kill this one, but you still end up with the card. So then I have 4 copies of Bloated Contaminator, another insidiously overstated guy. So 2 and a green for a 4/4 trample with Toxic 1. And when it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate, which is huge because they get the poison counter from the Toxic 1, and then you proliferate, so they get another poison counter, and then that will help. Also, was it Evolving Adaptive? You can give this more oil counters. It's just the proliferate is really good on this guy, and you really hope and pray to get this guy through. But 4/4 trample for 3, really great in an aggressive deck. Then I have 3 copies of Kazandu Mammoth. So that's 1 and 2 green for a 3/3 with landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, Kazandu Mammoth gets +2/+2 to end of turn. So what's good about these guys is that not only do they get fatter just for you, playing a land, which I will say in this deck there's not a lot of, but cards like this are your double-faced cards that can come into play as a tap land. So this is really there to be another creature in the deck. Was it for Collected Company? So you'll understand that. So then we have here 3 copies of Boon Satyr. Boon Satyr has always been one of my favorite cards. It's 1 and 2 green for a 4/2 flash enchantment creature satyr. So you can bring this out at instant speed. But what's really good is that bestow. If you get to 5 mana, you can play this guy as an enchantment, granting the enchanted creature +4/+2 at instant speed. This is a great combat trick and a great piece of buff for something like Bloated Contaminator, turning it from a 4/4 to a 8/6 trample. Ooh, big, huge. Was it add it with Werewolf Pack Leader, and by itself it's attacking for 6, so you get to draw a card. Change its base power from 5 to a 5/3, and now it's a 9 power trample guy. With trample, and of course, since you're targeting something, was a Venerated Rat Priest will give a poison counter. So just so much goodness with Boon Satyr, one of my favorite cards. Then of course we have 4 copies of Steel Leaf Champion. So Steel Leaf Champion, of course, 3 green mana, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and it's a 5/4, ridiculously overstated with its own evasion. You just try to outmuscle your opponents. So that's my creature base. So now we get to the instants and sorceries. So here we have Aspect of the Hydra, of course, with all of the green pips I have in there. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green at instant speed for 1 green mana. Beautiful card. I saw a number of this in the games I was playing today. I have 3 copies of Vastwood Fortification. So it's 1 green mana, instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which is good as a combat trick. Was it to save you with things? Save you if somebody's going to try to fight your guys. Exactly, this one can save it. It's a +1/+1 counter, so it can be proliferated by the Bloated Contaminator. And this is also a double-face card that you can put down as a land. So this is, and also this is something that you can target your guys with, so that Venerated Rat Priest will give your opponent poison counter. Then we have 2 copies of Tyvar's Stand. What an incredible card this is. One of my favorite cards right out of the blocks from the set. Was it from Albo We Won? So X and green, target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So 1 green protects your guy completely. And if you want to put in more mana, just make the guy bigger. Just a great card. Just a great card. But I really only need 2 of those. I have 3 copies of Infectious Bite. So instant speed, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Each opponent gets a poison counter. This is just really, really good removal. And it also adds the poison counters, so they have to worry about that right away. Then I have 2 copies of Colony Ambush. 2 and a green, instant. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So I don't like, since green has started doing the whole doing damage equal to power stuff, I'm really not, I really prefer those as to fights, but these also double as lands. So these are really good to have in the deck. Then I have 1 copy of Balagad Recovery, 2 and a green at sorcery speed. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So being able to recur any one of the cards that we play, pretty good. Also a land that can come into play, that's also good. Then, where we get the CoCo from, of course, 4 copies of Collected Company. So Collected Company, instant speed, 3 and a green. Look at the top 6 cards of your library, put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this is a huge combat trick. This is a huge way to mess with your opponent's math. When they're like, okay, I'm going to leave up 1 blocker, 2 blockers. You're like, oh, I'm getting 2 more guys, and maybe they're still Leaf Champions and they're 5/4s. Or maybe you're going to get 2 more Venerated Rat Priests, and now 1 or 2 spells will poison them out. Just, Collected Company does a whole lot in this deck. Then, enchantments. I have 3 copies of Talons of Wildwood. So Talons of Wildwood, 1 in the green, enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and has trample. And the best part is you can pay 2 in the green to return this from your graveyard to your hand. So you can enchant something, Venerated Rot Priest will give a poison counter to your opponent. You get trample on one of them big creatures, like what was it? Oh, sweet Jesus, why am I? The Steel Leaf Champion. You give Steel Leaf Champion trample +1/+1 and the evasion from the small power guys. That's really good. And then when they deal with it, you can bring this back to your hand, cast it again, and then get Venerated Rot Priest to put more poison on your opponent. In fact, something that I did in testing, but I never did do on the games today, was that you could have Cankerbloom out, destroy this with Cankerbloom, bring it back to your hand, and then cast it again. But that's the kind of play you only want to do when you have multiple Venerated Rot Priests on the battlefield. So those are the spells, and then the mana base is 1 Karn's Bastion. So that's a colorless mana and pay 4 and tap to proliferate. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11 forests. So I have 12 lands here, but that's offset by the modal double-faced cards that I have here that are also lands. So you just have to know when to play those things face down, when it's worth it to play those things face down. But yeah, this was the deck. And I would say that right now, the one change I would make is I would take out Karn's Bastion and just put in another forest. This thing cost me time because it didn't give me the green mana, and I never once activated it for proliferate. I had much better uses for 5 lands than I did with that. So I would just take this out and put in another basic forest, and I think this deck would be great. But had to be real tricky with my removal. Had to be real tricky with my removal, had to play my instance at the right time, well-timed Boon Satyrs and Collected Companies. So this was fun, and I was able to go 4-0 with this in the tournament at Gamelot. So if you stuck with me, this was the prize that I got me a Phyrexia All Will Be One Collector's Booster. So let's open this up and see what the goodness is. Japanese pull tab. Blam! Oh, Japanese pull tab. Okay, here we go. So we got a Phyrexian Might Focus Up You. Also, I got me a new camera. Well, a new camera. I got me a new phone, so that means new camera. So, hopefully this looks better. Maybe I'm not sure about how this sounds. Since this new phone doesn't have the headphone jack, I can't use my old headphone setup. Excuse me, my old microphone setup. So I'm using the one that I got off of Kickstarter, the Tiktaalik mic. Not sure how well that sounds, but we're going to find out. So first off, we're going to see the other token, which is, ooh, we got the Hollow Sentinel. Nice. I just got the Venser Flesh Puppet in foil. So that's cool. Alrighty. So here we go. We got, ooh, I just got one of these. The same place where I got that Venser. Blue Sun's Twilight extended foil. Beautiful, beautiful card. Alrighty. We got Slowbad. Look how they massacred my boy. Look how they massacred my boy. Alrighty. And then we got Urbresk's Anointer in Step and Fetch It foil. Some of these, Step and Fetch It, Step and Complete. Some of these are so freaking obvious where you see the Phyrexian symbols, and some of them are like you can't see them for crap. Okay, so Urbresk's Anointer. And then we have Rotvine Cultivator, or Rustvine, excuse me. Sawblade Scamp. Oh man, I got another, darn it! This is a good card, especially in token decks that can run this guy. Because this is one of the first pulls I've ever gotten off of one of these packs. So, okay. It's a mythic. Ooh, Black Sun's Twilight Extended. Nice. Up to one target creature gets -X/-6 until end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Very nice. At instant speed, too. Oh, la 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 la. Oh, Lord, this card. Vraska Betrayal Sting in foil. Yes, yes, nice. 0, draw a card and you lose 1 life. Proliferate. Dumb. Dumb. Was it? Focus up, you. Target creature becomes a treasure. Ah, that's so funny. And last night, if target player has lower... What is this? Has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number until it equals 9. Yeah, so if you ultimate her, they get... one person gets up to 9 poison counters. That's cool. That's cool. So far I'm at 2 mythics, but there's this one quote unquote disappointing mythic. I'll probably, a long time from now, I'll probably end up finding use for all those copies. So, and then we have the foil Phyrexianized Plains. Hey, focus. There you go. And I think that's going to be all the goodness. Hey, a foil Cankerbloom. Nahiri Sacrifice. Lattice Blade Mantis. Forge Hammer Centurion. Offer Immortality. I like that card. And Zealot's Conviction. So, this wasn't... I mean, Vraska Betrayal String, that's a good card to get that in foil. So this wasn't the nuts. This was far from the nuts. But this was fun. That was my prize for winning. Was it nothing crazy? It was like a $10 entry fee, and I got me a $25 pack. But okay, so here we go. So if you stuck with me, I thank you very much. There you go. And hey, have at it. So again, thank you very much for joining me. If you like my quirky content, like, comment, share, subscribe, boost the Schlub's numbers. Thank you once again. Stay schlubby, my friends.